everybody, thanks a lot for joining me this morning or any time of day. It's morning for me right now, and a quick look through my analytics, and it's easy to see that many people are coming to my channel for the dupes. It's kind of unfortunate because those are the hardest videos for me to make, but that is what folks seem to be most interested in from my channel, so that's what I want to bring you. By the way, thank you to those of you who are tuning in no matter what I'm doing over here. I really appreciate you angels out there. But we are going to talk about some dupes today, mainly in the forms of blushes. We've got a highlight, we've got some individual blushes, plus the entire Beauty Bakery Cotton Candy Champagne palette. I mentioned that in a previous video, and a lot of you seemed interested in seeing some dupes there, so I was able to figure that out. And then kind of a general sort of glowy face powder dupe that I've got here. All in all, it's 8 different products. I am super excited to bring these to you, and there will be a few that I'm able to show you try-on style, otherwise it will be swatches, just because layering up multiples on the same face, it'll kind of mess with what I'm trying to show you. Obviously, you won't be seeing the colors so true to color if I were just layering them up. Let's start off actually with sort of a face powder that has a little bit of a glow to it. To me, this is the kind of thing that you could wear in a concentrated way like a highlight, or you could just wear it lightly all over the face if you like a more glowy finish to everything. And I'm talking about this product from Laura Mercier. It's kind of a classic here. It is the Matte Radiance Baked Powder. I have it in the shade 01. Whenever I think about this powder, I think of Makeup by Tiffany D because she always seemed to mention this one quite a bit. But as you can see, it's sort of a baked format there, kind of domed up, and the glow that it has is really pretty soft. It is kind of a pearlescent sheen, I would say, but once it diffuses out on the skin, it doesn't look that intense. But that being said, you could go into this with just a really small brush that would really give you targeted application, and you could make it look a little bit more like a highlight. But on this side of my face, I just put that all over, and that would be after I did foundation and concealer. I set my under eye and T-zone with just some regular powder and then breezed over the area very, very lightly with this. And I think it gives a nice, like, sort of glowy look. But I realized that the NYX High Glass finishing powder is really, really similar. Not just in tone, which I have the shade Light here. And keep in mind, there's a range of this, there's a range of this. This really gives the same effect on the skin. You can get that glow. It's not as profound as a highlighter would be, but if you want to wear it in a more concentrated way, you can get a soft highlighted effect. So I thought that was really cool to actually be able to lay my hands on something that was so similar to this powder, because it really is kind of unique. Now let's go through a couple of the individual blushes that I was able to dupe. I found a dupe for this one from Benefit. It's called Gold Rush, and this was something when it initially came out, and it was in this actually cute little packaging. You know how Benefit does. I sort of wasn't that excited about it. I remember thinking, well, the color's kind of faint. It's not really that great of a blush or whatever. I didn't think it was totally up my alley. And then they put it out within that Benefit Cheek Leaders trio, and I started wearing it, and I was thinking, I totally like this as blush. I don't know why I sort of overlooked it. It might have just been something that I didn't give enough time or attention to in the beginning. But what you can definitely tell about this powder in a swatch is that it is a soft, peachy blush that does have a little bit of a golden sheen. And I found within my collection a great dupe for that is from Physicians Formula, and it's the Butter Blush in the shade called Beachy Peach. And if you look at that, it's got the same level of sheen. I wouldn't call these powders like highlighters, but they're glowy blushes. They both have a soft color to them. If you are a real deep skin tone, I don't think you'll be satisfied with these blushes. But light to medium, fair skin, this might be something that really looks good on your complexion. And again, that soft glow, you get it in both of these. It's sometimes hard duping both a shade and a finish, right? Sometimes you'll be dead on with a color, but it won't have just the right amount of glow. And I feel like here I was really able to come up with both elements as a dupe. Here's another individual blush that I was able to find a dupe for. This is from Clinique, and aren't these adorable? They're cheek pop blushes. They totally look like a flower imprinted in there, and the imprint is really so deep that even if you use these a lot, I feel like the flower still continues to show. And this is the shade called Cola Pop. Now this would be the kind of blush that I think is almost like one size fits all, because it could show up in a very vibrant way on deeper skin tones, but if a more fair skin tone or closer to my skin tone, wants to wear it lightly, you can get just a really beautiful berry colored blush. And that is really pretty any time of year. It's very flattering and it's very natural for what the skin kind of produces. When I see this on the skin, I think, okay, that makes sense to me. But I was able to find a dupe, and it's my Neutrogena Cheeky Wink Flushed Blush. And this is in the shade, oh, Cheeky Wink. Oh no, it's the color Boysenberry. These two tones are so similar. The thing is, though, they're kind of different textures. This Clinique one applies more like a standard powder. This one feels almost like, I don't know, a color pop kind of vibe. When you touch it, there's a little like push down to it, but it really is the very same tone. I've tested these, you know, one cheek to the other as I have everything here, and it's totally the same look. I would say if you're going into these with a brush, because both can be applied with brushes, you're gonna wanna use a softer hand with this one, but the tones are really identical, and I think that's a blush that can look great on darn near anybody. Next up, I wanna talk about a highlighter. This one's from Natasha Denona, and it's called Super Glow, and I have it in the shade Fair. And this highlight, I mean, this is probably one of, if not my most favorite product from Natasha Denona. This is a really kind of metallic glossy highlight. If you apply it right, I mean, I don't think any highlight should really look like metallic eyeshadow, let's say, on your cheek, but it has so much luminosity. And it's the kind of thing that whenever she comes out with a palette, I always hope that something in this texture and tone is also included in it, because it's just such a great highlight. Now, in my collection, I've got a lot of things that at a glance in the pan look like this, but actually they don't have as much intensity until I laid my hands on this one from Milani, which I was at first looking at all my individual products, and I thought, I wonder if I have anything within a palette, even just a drugstore palette, that might dupe this. And it's definitely this Milani Stellar Lights highlighter palette. It's 03 Rose Glow, so you are getting the 3 different colors, but obviously we're talking about this one right over here, and it has so much shine, guys, and it really takes something that has that maximum level of glow and also brightness and tone. I mean, this is not anything that really has a lot of depth to it, a lot of goldeniness, that's not a word. It just bounces off the face in a very bright way, and you've got to find something that's also going to do that. So I was really pleased to lay my hands on this Milani palette, and plus you're getting a couple other shades there, one that has more of a true golden look and one that's a little bit more rosy that could almost play like a bit of a blush, or you could even think about blending the lightest shade with either of these to get still a really bright highlighted effect but a different tone. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, the Beauty Bakery Cotton Candy Champagne Palette. This in itself is one of my favorite blush products, period. So I'm not trying to say you don't need this, or to me, I think it's totally worthwhile to have the entire palette. But I was wearing something in a recent video. It was the Saucy Mauve blush, wasn't it? And somehow duping the Beauty Bakery Cotton Candy Champagne palette came up. I know I love this Saucy Mauve blush from Physicians Formula, and I know I love this, but it wasn't until just recently here that I put it together that these are actually dupes. Some of you may just be wanting like one shade or another from this, and I guess if you're just looking to try something that has the same level of glow and pigmentation as one of these blushes, that's the kind of suggestion I'm giving you today, because that's basically what these are. Nicely pigmented blushes that also have a beautiful glow. Think of like blush and highlighter mixed. So back to the Saucy Mauve. This color right down here, the one called No Champagne, No Gain, that is the dupe, and it's kind of like the more neutral looking blush in this collection, but it still does have a good amount of rosiness to it. So on this side of my face, I applied the Beauty Bakery color, and you can see immediately there's glow, there's color, and you're not using a whole lot. You're not really scrubbing into the product at all. You're just gently tapping in. And then my Saucy Mauve shade, which I've loved for some time, but it's just interesting how you finally put together, oh, that's actually a dupe. So I used that on my other cheek, and I think you're getting the very same tone. It's not like glaringly pink and rosy, but it has some of that mixed with a little bit of neutral. So I absolutely love that I found that dupe, and if you've been wanting something that gives you that same effect as this, look to this one. Let's chat about the other dupes that I found here. One is this shade up in the top left-hand corner. It's the one called 24 Hour Champagne Diet, and this would be your Peachy pink. It's definitely pinky, but it's got that peachy warmth and then of course the glow. And I found a dupe for that with my new hard candy. I say new, I've had it for, I don't know, a month or so, but it's the Just Glow Silk Blush in the shade called Gush Blush. And it also has a good amount of pink in it, but also a goldeny sort of peachy glow to it. It really plays the same way on the cheeks. Keep in mind, as you see swatches of things that are going to be blushes, the swatch is to sort of prove the dupe to you, but in reality, those shades are going to be sheared out quite a bit on the cheeks as you wear them like blushes. But I was really excited to find that tone, which this is kind of a common blush tone, you know, peachy pink is everywhere, but to find something that's exactly that glowy, this was kind of a unique find actually. So the Hard Candy Just Glow Silk Blush. Let's go to the one up here called Sip Sip Hooray. This one is super duper brightening, and it's really like, I think, the most glowy in the whole palette just because of its lightness, but it's like a soft pink highlight and blush mixed together. And the shade that I found that's a dupe for that, this was a real product rediscovery. I remember absolutely being all about this stuff, and then I forgot about it. It's from Revolution. It comes in a cute little compact here. It's called the Renaissance Illuminate, and the shade is Radiant in Rose. The shade in here that's really duping that color in the Beauty Bakery palette is what's happening right on this end. It's very, very glowy, and it is that same perfect lightness. And this is a gorgeous compact, by the way. I wish it was more easy to come by because I was only finding it now on Revolution's website, but you can shop there from anywhere in the world, and it's got just this stunning radiance to it. Plus, if you want to use something exclusively as a highlight, you have a clear highlight down here, or sometimes when I wear this, I would mix like this and this. But it's tough. If you want to dupe Beauty Bakery, you've got to find both the pigment and all that glowiness. And then the last one, this was the hardest to find. It's this really unique shade down here in the bottom called Stop and Smell the Rosé. This one has like kind of some plumminess in there. I've tried very few things that actually have this tone. A lot of times when we see plummy tone blushes, there's a lot of depth to them, right? They're more the blush in a range that's going to be geared toward a deeper skin tone, and it's going to be rather dark. This one, I sense that plum. I sense like, I don't know, a little bit of neutralness in there, maybe just a little bit of berry, but all that shimmer in there still gives it some brightness and some life. And I finally found the dupe for that, and I had it placed in a different area, so I wasn't laying my hands on this immediately. It was like the last thing I came to because I broke the lid, so I got to keep this in a special place. But this is my found baked illuminating blush in the shade called Rose Glow. This totally, if you are going to swirl your brush throughout all of this, both the color and the highlight, you're going to absolutely nail that same shade, which is a little bit berry, a little plummy, but still very, very radiant. So as you can see, they don't look the same as I hold it up because this is a swirled product, but as you swirl it, you will get that glow, and it will definitely give you this kind of a look. So guys, I'm so happy to be able to share these dupes with you today. Again, with that Beauty Bakery palette, I'm all for it because I love all of these shades. But if you've ever seen me using it and just one or another really interested you, now you can see what those dupes might be. Maybe some of them are already in your collection. That's the fun thing about dupes, right? So let me know if you have any more dupe requests. I've been on a little bit of a roll with it lately, I feel. We've done some skincare, skin prep sort of alternatives. Also had just a general luxury dupes video recently. If you haven't seen that, be sure to check it out. And if you enjoyed this video, definitely give it a thumbs up, because a thumbs up will help any channel's visibility on YouTube. It will make it show up more readily as a suggested video to others, so I really, really appreciate that. Thank you guys so much for your time. I hope you're doing well, and I will see you again in my next video. Bye.